Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for staying with us. Now, our book guest is one of the leading pioneers of storytelling in the country and will headline the upcoming Time of the Writer Festival, which gets underway in Durban from the 13th to the 18th at the University of KwaZulu-Natal's Centre for Creative Arts. Of course, I'm talking about Nomsa Mdlalose. She is a professional storyteller, storytelling consultant, and a sessional lecturer. Madlose, who has been in the field of storytelling for well over 20 years, joins me now to talk about her short stories and taking part in the Time of the Writer Festival. Nomsa, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
Let's talk about this love of storytelling, this love of wanting to tell stories and then discovering the ability to tell a story, because not everybody can tell stories. Where did it start?
I think it starts before you realize that you are starting something. Sometimes I grew up playing games, a lot of games as a child, but I wouldn't say that I had a lot of stories when I grew up, because I didn't have a grandmother to tell me stories, but probably I would hear stories from my friends, young, who had parents who would tell them stories, but I wouldn't say that much. But I played a lot of games as a child. Then I ventured into the arts, and I got myself into storytelling. Then it sort of became natural. But when I think about it, it came from my growing up, from the things that I used to do as a child.
The ability to tell a story, though. When did you discover that? Even though you got into the arts, when did you know that this was something I could do, I have a passion for, I love, and people want to hear?
I think for me, it didn't start as a passion, because I first of all, as a professional career or a professional art, I didn't know that I could make a career out of storytelling until I met Sister Mdlalose. And I trained under her. I trained under Zanendaba. I became a member of Zanendaba. Was doing too many things at the same time and concurrently. But apparently, for one reason or the other, storytelling took over. Maybe I could answer this question why I stayed. At the end of the day, it made sense to me. Then I became to understand what this thing is. It taught me about myself. It taught me about my people around me. Actually, it taught me about the world. I understood even the concept of death through storytelling. And
what's the context? Let's look at the context for story writers currently in South Africa. What is that landscape like?
I think it's growing, and it's growing very fast. And now that so many people are getting into this self-publishing, because I think people do write. The issue is, what do you do with that material, with that work? How do you get it out to the people if it's not going to be published? And if it's for me, fine, I can tell stories. I can use my work, tell stories orally instead of put it into the book. But now that you can self-publish, people publish, and I think it's growing.
But you've also worked tirelessly to get storytelling to be recognized on the same level as dance and drama.
I have. I'm sorry, I have to agree that I have. I've done that. It was my mission to get storytelling into schools, but that's why I went on to study further, and which is what I'm still doing. I'm completing my thesis on storytelling this year. So.
You're also the headline act for the Time of the Writers. Talk to me about that. How did that come about very quickly?
Time of the Writer, they invited me, because it's not the first time I've been there before and telling stories. But when I was there the first time, I didn't have books, but now I'm writing.
Who's your two friends?
Oh, my two friends. These are the stories that I will be, at the Time of the Writer, some of the stories I'll be telling to children, because we'll be traveling to libraries and schools around Durban. So I'll be telling these stories.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us. That is Nomsa Mdlalose. She is an award-winning folklorist, storyteller, writer. She is the headline act at the Time of the Writer Festival, which is taking place in Durban from the 13th to the 18th of March. She's written extensive stories for children in different languages as well. Highly accomplished women. We take an ad break. Don't go anywhere.